Well, and I think that image that people have of classical music and the symphony orchestra is really kind of just that. It's sort of an image that people have, but the reality is, in my experience, has been so different, right? I mean, we perform music of all kinds, right? We perform rock music, classical music, jazz, Broadway, vocal, opera. We do it all, right? And what I find is that people resonate with good music, no matter what it is. And so it's not really a sort of like, oh, classical music is one way, or classical musicians are one way, because it's not true. We're all different.
It's funny because, like, I remember coming up in high school, and I really enjoyed theater coming through high school. I was really lucky, actually. My teacher, my theater teacher in high school was a guy named Dale Schust, who was trained by the same guy who trained Pavarotti.
Oh, wow.
So he came from a very theatrical, very operatic background, and he was really, really great with me in that he sort of, I think he understood my frenetic energy a little bit more than most people, and he was just like, all right, put it here, stupid. You know what I mean? And it was I was really lucky that way. But even coming through that, knowing that, like, there was this, I had access to this guy who kind of knew all of that stuff. I really enjoyed theater and theatrical music, but I could never see that as like something that I would do.
Right.
You know what I mean? It seemed like something that was beyond me.
Well, it's interesting you say that. People ask me all the time now, what do I need to do to become a professional musician? And I always say the first thing you have to do is in the middle of the night when you're by yourself laying in bed and your eyes are closed, do you imagine yourself being a musician on stage? That's the first step. If you can't see it, nobody's going to make it happen for you. You have to believe from the inside, from right down to your toes, that this is something you can do. And I've always believed that. I don't know why, but I always have. And even though I had no idea that I wanted to be a conductor at that point, and no idea how to become a professional musician, I knew that I had to play music. I knew that was part of who I was.
That'll do it for this episode of the AVB Podcast. Don't forget you can subscribe to our full audio episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you find your audio podcasts. The full episodes, highlights, and our live off-the-floor performance videos can be found at our YouTube channel, and you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the AVB Podcast. Of course, you'll find links to our incredible sponsors and this week's guest in the description below. The AVB Podcast is part of the Border City Network. Find more great content at bordercitynetwork.com. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.